에헤이, 요즘 아이들 겨울엔 따뜻하면 됐지. 요렇게 털 붙이고, 어? 저렇게 박음질하고 난리 났네, 난리 났어. 근데 엄청 폼 나긴 하대.
Are now breaking down mid turret. That's going to be so massive for Gen G on controlling vision in both quadrants of the enemy jungle.
Again, this is Gen G making these proactive plays. This is Gen G rewriting the narrative on them of being slow and not taking the opportunities that are in front of them. This is a proactive Gen G forcing all of these picks, all of these plays onto EDG. They're going to get rewarded on bottom side. Everybody moving over for the extra damage.
Turret number 2 gonna fall, and they're actually gonna let Ruler get the solo gold, it looks like. Community and Glid both came down, made sure, okay, over, no be defense, Ruler, 300 gold richer. Now the bot lane, I mean, I like the Lulu pick, but as it came down to it, Gen G able to put enough pressure down through Glid. That bot lane was won by Gen G, and even without the help, Rascal started finding a solo kill.
And now we're going to be looking at top side of the map. EDG, of course, did just elect to give up bot lane to make their way towards Rift Herald first. If Gen G had been a bit closer, I think they could have looked at posture and buy time, but EDG so early on this objective, they're not going to. For Gen G now, I think you just look towards bottom side, put vision down, and just keep up the dragon stack game. You already the first one, could potentially set this game up for a bit of an earlier soul, and then have a late game win condition in that.
Summon top lane, outer is definitely going to die, even just to auto attacks. Flag and drag in. Okay, I like this one. Also, if you're afraid of getting attacked, you flag behind. The AoE for the attack speed's very, very high. Put the autos, Q back out. Who's going to gank you? They're not going to burn the Herald just yet. They need to get that turret. Waiting for something more valuable, like maybe bot lane or mid lane.
Yeah, and I'm really surprised that Gen G haven't committed more towards this bottom side. It looks like they're really afraid that EDG might commit up towards another play on Rascal and then drop that Herald down on a tier 2.
Herald is really cool because it makes your opponents respond to you. If you want to make an unsuspecting play like this, where they were just hovering around in the fog of war there before walking back to this Tri-Brush ward, then you can overcommit to a side of the map and force your opponent to answer the hard push of the Herald. But it is a really good pick here.
Good play by JJ, but still rooted in place. He's gonna get kicked and killed. Well done by Clit. Best he could do was to ult through the charm. Still gets knocked down. It's gonna be a fight for some Krug gold. Not gonna matter a whole lot. Gen G proactive, winning in game 2.
It's Gen G unleashed in the mid game here. They just continue to beat up EDG. That war in the Tri-Brush Freak. They call up the bottom lane, and Ruler with the Jhin ultimate opening up again. Clint finds another 3 kills for him.
Scoop back on a scout. Ruler lands the snipe, lands the kill. It just keeps happening. This game belongs to Gen G.
And Gen G just finding picks all over the map. I'm pretty sure we saw Ruler walk right through midwave down towards that bottom side. Surprise Scout can get picked off by that. But I love that Gen G are keeping this momentum up. Already 3 turrets down, only 1 on the side of EDG. And all of this strength on the Lee Sin 3-0-0. Gore Drinker already making his way towards the Sterix as well. And for Gen G, they just need to keep this up. This is their power spike. This is their point of power. They have lockdown and numerous rolls coming out from the Rakan and the Jhin, and even good backline damage coming out from these here. EDG not having a great way of walking into that for Gen G.
Great point. And the way that they do push it ahead for Gen G is now that you do have all this priority with pushed in on side lanes and all outer turrets are gone, is exactly what Life is doing right now. Moves in, gets the deep wards to see the transitions between these secondary turrets here. When EDG are trying to catch that farm, they're sticking to the, we got a skill for late game plan. It's Gen G's opportunity to increase their lead, take away the jungle camps. You threaten the picks here. They've made very good use of the Rakan engages. Klid's Lee Sin has been on point, forcing play after play for them. And now you get to leverage that extra territory that you've earned with the threat of those picks.
It's also, when you look at these 3 champions in particular, the Lee Sin, the Jhin, and the Rakan, there's so much long-range pick potential to follow up. EDG don't need to full-on commit into you for you to be able to find that one key pick to be able to push the gold lead further.
Damage here towards almost the turret, looking for a bit of poke, maybe a CC and a lockdown, but just Gen G owning the right side jungle here is Zap. Not quite as good as Captive Audience, to be honest, and it's not going to do too much either. Now, looking for the next move as bot lane is still under fire. BDD happy to poke at Flandre as Ruler puts some shots under the turret.
Now it looks like Gen G should just be able to keep sieging this one down and get this. Ruler even still having his ulti if they want to wait, but next wave is pretty far away. Looks like for Gen G, they should probably just start pivoting towards mid, keep taking away these jungle camps. and looking for the next objective on the map, which probably is going to be Baron spawn. Get some vision down on the top side.
Again, one of the biggest things leveraged against Gen G was them not pushing ahead game state, but they continue to increase it here, stealing away the jungle camps you mentioned, pushing out on the sides, and BDD holding off multiple members here with extra pressure. He's basically just buying time for the rest of the team in the numbers advantage side lanes to take down another.
Now for EDG, I feel like a big point of power you were looking for was the side lane pressure they'd be able to get with both Scout and Flandre, who should be able to win out in the 1-3-1. But Gen G have done such a good job of playing out through 2 lanes, leaving Rascal on weak side, who has TB, should be fine to clear that one out and not giving the potential opportunity for EDG. You can see now EDG are the team who have to just all in on one lane of the map, give up farm on sides, and try and force something, which is where Gen G are stronger right now.
Exactly. So now we're looking at EDG. Their possible comeback mechanics in this game. Rise, ultimates, plus the Jarvan finding someone and getting that pick. Sometimes if you leave these openings and you don't do your due diligence with your warding from your split pushing and you're trying to gain too much in a map controlled situation, that's where the comebacks happen. And if you get some gold in a pick and a comeback opportunity to this EDG comp, that's when it gets quite scary to the things that we were kind of warning about in the early stages, speaking about how that EDG comp will be so scary later on. Gen G easily transition over towards the Baron now. You see them moving in through the red block.
I think another nice thing for this game is the fact that it will be an Infernal Soul. So it's not something like Cloud where a lot of teams feel like, we're going to get that one up, just keep farming real jungle camps and scale up. EDG are going to feel like they need to fight for these objectives going forward, and Gen G have a reliable way to force EDG out of their base.
See, top lane tier 2 maybe the target. We've got 3 members up there, only 2 on defense for EDG, but Rise clears away the wave. They're not getting a whole lot of damage done there. Ruler's shown up now as well. Renekton gonna come over and control mid, so a lot of members heading towards the top side. Brave accepting the farm down at bot lane, the level of tier 2. Gen G keeping the pressure going, already on 2 dragons. Baron has spawned a minute ago, and Turret only gonna lose about a quarter of its health. Ultimately, it's not a whole lot done up here, but nothing given away, so it's just some extra turret chip.
This teleport very deep. They're going for the pick on the Renekton.
Yeah, they know he's isolated. They know he's away from the rest of the team, so Rascal going to be attacked and shut down. 500 gold goes through to the graves.
And that was the pick that you were talking about, Kobe, for EDG to find ways back into the game, to find ways to pick up gold. It is going to give up a turret on the opposite side, but EDG needed to find anything.
We keep cursing both teams. Let's just keep talking about the comeback mechanics for each side, and we'll continue to have the back and forth here. As EDG, not only is it a pick, but they trade turrets. They're gonna leave open the inhibitor here. With 37 seconds left on the Dragon 2, you have to decide between getting your recalls off to reset for your control wards to go back down there. Andre gets another outer, and the gold keeps flowing in.
Scout's one without TP, so he actually can't join that, but Flandre able to push down to the bottom side. This play, long form, has been positive gold to EDG because they got, more turrets in the shutdown or equal turrets in the shutdown. So overall gold positive, but the question is, can they play for Dragon in time if they want to slow down the stacking? Scout's gonna be able to get down the river just about in time. Gen G getting a lot of their recalls off, and I think it's gonna be a close battle.
Yeah, at least the river close to mention first. The fact that Flandre was pushing in that bottom side of the map. For Gen G, we talked about a lot of the long-range pick tools. You can open up Jhin ultimate, try and force them off. Jhin, Rakan, follow up, but no, for Gen G, they don't want to look for it. They're just gonna back off.
I kind of like the choice from EDG to take that timing as an opportunity too, because as long as they get out here. Gen G anyway, returning to take this tower, and they might be looking for an opening with Scout on side.
They got a root, they got another root, almost, so barely. Clid is able to jump away. It is so close to being locked in place. Ruthless did not come down in time.
No, so they are going to be able to back off. Looks like Clid gets the smite, gets the red buff. And now Gen G, of course, are going to posture towards the top side of the map, looking to get that vision down. Bear now the only standing neutral. And for Gen G, I don't think they have a great way of punishing the fact that they took the top lane inhibitor turret. Maybe that's one of the reasons why EDG were fine giving it up, because Gen G don't really have a split pusher, but instead they want to bait the Baron. Or not.
Get used. They don't have ways of getting rid of the vision. They don't have control inside the pit, so okay. Knew it was aggro, due to back off. Flame Choppers do in fact reveal Fog of War, so you can always toss those down to fight for rewards, but it's still a lot of Fog. That blue trinket has been slain, and so it's Fog, and they gotta make their way forward, EDG.
Should be using Flag to...
He wants to save it to not be charm knockup. Like, he could throw it down, but he's afraid if there's another spot to check, he needs it to get away. So ends up saving it, does not get punished for the sort of safety. But now we have round 2 on the Baron. Genji's starting it up again.
And for Gen G, they do a pretty decent Baron with the fact that they do have Nazir in their kit. And they have amazing turret potential. You can see Life looking for Viper or a certain member of EG to walk too far forward.
Healing up again. TP is up for Flounder. He's not been allowed to go back to the side of the map. Gen G actually up in teleports, but right now playing consolidated. Ultimately, they're able to get out Viper's ulti, but no other cooldowns have been forced. They try again. Flag goes down. Not being
Andre is still ahead. Solid 1v1 against Rascal. Rascal can't go through the side lane, so they need to make these 5-man plays on Baron. And EDG just need to stay here.
Split is showing on purpose so that there's no urgency.
spotted. Knock up there. Big damage on a Clint. Almost rooted in place. Diving in. Where's the stopwatch? TP coming in now. 5,000 health on the Baron. Will they turn back for the play? They could try to burn it. Jinji is in. Now it's Genji inside the pit. They're going to disengage, but it's at 4K. If you're leaning over the play, you could, but Flandre, he can always ult out. He can always flash out. This is dangerous. Jinx can throw rockets over the wall, but I'm not sure EDG can win this one. Of course, he has life too, but it's not going to be enough. Baron will finally reset. The recalls come through for Genji in Fog of War, so it's still mostly unknown.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised that EDG didn't want to more full commit to that one for the fact that Clid was one of the members who was low. I also think the life was probably about 50% HP. Members who can't just recall and TP back to the fight, but not wanting to be grouped up against a composition that does have so much AoE with the champions that Genji has picked.
Yeah, one of the problems that Genji are facing here is that there are such good split options for EDG. So Genji are trying to bait here into their picks. You know, the Rakan, the Jhin, can they find something? But EDG have been safe enough to avoid this, while also having those outs for later. Lyric, having that map control, and guess what? The Jinx continues to scale, the Rise continues to scale. As long as they can control the next few minutes here for the side of EDG, they will remain pretty confident.
This is also why it's so fast that EDG were able to take up the last dragon, right? Because if this would be sole point for Genji, EDG can't just play this posture game where they're staring at you and thinking about what they could do. They would have to walk into Genji's composition, so EDG buying themselves this breathing room where they're like, fine, we'll wait for waves to be on our side of the map, we'll pick up our own camps, and we'll keep relying on our scaling.
Classic Genji stall out streak, getting a little nervous.
But it is a 4,000 gold lead, and they've been able to keep that one and actually grow it most of the time. Control work knocked down. Rascal, and once again, great Fog of War inside this Baron pit, so they can keep playing this dance. Double TP up on the one side, still only Scout on the other, so Genji could play the sides and then group down. Dragons up in 15 seconds. EDG taking final recalls. Flandre on 3.5 items. Level 16 is Blade is up, goes to the jungle with the broken stopwatch. It's gonna have a while until the GA is ready.
Speaking of stopwatch, we don't have anything on Viper, so Viper's just relying on his own position to move and of course his summoner spells. Definitely think Viper's a big member you need to watch. But Flandre as well probably will be the big damage dealer in this team fight with how much gold he was accelerated in the early game.
Keep your eyes open for a possible flank angle too, because if they can get a deep ward here for Genji to allow Rascal to teleport in, life is looking.
They're looking. They're going to find the knockup. Is it enough to kill BDD? Clip force back as well. Jinja so incredibly low. They get the Lulu ulti. Viper can take some of it. He's going to run his way out. Is this going to be a play? No, gonna jump backwards, but be careful because they can keep on going. It's a flash in for Clint. It's a flash in for life. One kill so far. Will they find a second? Mako is low. Mako could drop, and Mako does. Really gonna get that kill. Looking for another flash is in. Finds the shutdown, and Flandre's on his way out. Genji are gonna find this game. They're gonna find 4 kills. The map belongs to Genji.
EDG overreaches. Genji will walk this one right to the base.
And amazing to see, especially from Clint and like the fall that went up to Rascal with the flank as well. And Genji looks like they can just walk this one down.
If you come at BDD, you better not miss. They punish the turnaround. JJ goes down, and Genji will even it up.
All right, 1-1 in this one. Stopwatch for good measure. Not going to matter. You are not going to defend this base. The Nexus turrets will fall. The respawns come in. A dunk for Genji to buy a little bit of time. Flashing away to safety. Rascal gonna take out this turret for a while. The rocket might land a bit of damage. And maybe, just maybe, the Nexus won't fall. Are there gonna be a little bit more to play in this game? Looks like yes. The Dragon is gonna to be a gimme as Genji are forced out of the base.
I gotta be honest, if that game did end right there, it would have been completely out of left field, out of nowhere. And for Gen G, I wonder if they, nope, they don't have the health bars to stay and look for a dragon. But even maybe
counter Baron?
top side.
Heroics there from BDG to hold at the Nexus, stalling Gen G, and now they have really strong possible response, forcing on Baron. You see the teleports quickly coming out from BDG to answer, or from Gen G to answer.
At least you go for the Vision, but you might go for the Baron Rush. Now, Clint did stay on the map, but that means he has to spend since the last team fight. It's a little bit more than normal. TP in, they're gonna rush this down. It's gonna be a spite fight. It's gonna be a spite fight. It's Clint gonna get it. He is! You gotta be kidding me! It just keeps happening, and we're gonna have a whole bunch of kills. It's Flandre running for the hills. A Realm War brings two to safety, but they're gonna pick up every single one-day clan. Okay, it's gonna be BDD putting a stopwatch. It's gonna be 3 shots for a minute, but BDD stays alive. Scout and Mako do the best they can. Flandre cannot lifesteal enough. Ruler keeps finding the kills. Then a stopwatch buys it in a couple of seconds. A flash of safety will not bring Mako back to life. Ruler gets another, and that's gonna be the ace. This time it is Gen G finding the kills. Klid does not miss Smite, and game 2 is gonna go to Gen G.
Amazing to see from the early game coming out from Gen G, especially Klid. It felt like he was everywhere he needed to be. Well, you kept talking about the outplays, the playmaking that Klid needed to find. He found it throughout the whole game. And this game, sure, Gen G dominated, but it really felt like that one team fight at the end where EDG just overcommitting, looking for BDD, completely ended the game there.
Ooh, this series is very back and forth. Yeah. There's a lot of openings here. I agree, my honors are going to Klid for sure for this game. He really took it upon himself to be that leader player. He created so much action, getting them to the position where they can win, and then also just assassinating the Baron. Sneaking around the backside, teammate getting vision for him.
Yeah.
Perfect steal, then the kick out. We're in for quite a topsy-turvy one.
Hey, it's fun. I'm trying to get a good series here. I'm hoping for just a barn burner, a slobber knocker, games back and forth. We've already got a series on our hands, and the score is 1-1. But we're going to a break in a second. Now, Arcane, Riot's first animated series, is coming to Netflix on November 6th. 6 days away, set in the utopian region of Piltover and the oppressed underground of Zon. The story follows the origins of 2 iconic League champions and the power that will tear them apart. Let's take a fresh look into the series with the debut of our newest trailer.
This city was founded to be a bastion of enlightenment.
We are the city of progress, and our future is bright.
We were once one tribe. Now, we are houses of light.
As time passes, the topsiders are leaving us further and further behind. There's never enough to go round.
Hi. I need to speak with one of the units.
적을 처치했습니다.
Don't bent on destroying us.
Prepare our own countermeasures.
Imagining yourself again. I'm afraid this will be a very short reunion.
Here we go.
You people down here are all the same. Bit of advice. Don't threaten the guy who pours the drinks.
울트라 메가 캡슐 파워건 같은 게 있으면 어떨까? After you saved me so much dough on insurance with that Parker promo, I devised a promo for you.
Here's the deal, Parker. State Farm offers everyone surprisingly great rates.
Yeah, right. Pepperoni pockets, an atomic brownie, cuckoo crusty.
There's no promo, it's just great rates.
And a cider wrap. You're the man.
When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
포탑을 파괴했습니다. 미쳐 날뛰고 있습니다. 적을 처치했습니다. 적을 처치했습니다. 포탑을 파괴했습니다. 아군이 당했습니다. 포탑을 파괴했습니다. 적의 업적으로 파괴했습니다. 적을 처치했습니다.
Welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk, where it's Gen G who cruised to a victory in game number 2 to bring our series score to 1-1. I'm happy to be joined by the only man on the Analyst Desk who had the faith in the LCK squad to take the series. It's my boy, Chronicler. Chronicler, 1-1, they brought us there. How you feeling?
They can't keep getting away with it, Dash. I am so done. I have seen this exact thing play out over like the last 2 weeks. The random choices, the flips were rejected, and the worst part is Genji will never learn because they have gotten so good at changing, and it's driving me nuts, okay? Like, we see them try, they dropped an item through with the Seraphine, and it doesn't work. That champion is not good. It should not work. It gets over early. But teams keep walking into them, keep giving them the opportunity to come back, and then they win. And because they keep winning, they're never gonna learn. They're never gonna get better. And this team has so much promise. They're so good individually. Did you see how well they played?
Yeah, I saw it all. I tell you what, Chronicler, I tell you what. I'm gonna. You clearly look like you need a moment to breathe, and while it was your team that ultimately garnered the victory, I'm gonna give you that much-needed moment to breathe. I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna join Vedius. I'm gonna join Azael to help break down the rest of the series. But I think the call-out is an interesting one. Right, this idea that Gen G go back to the tried and true when it comes to needing a victory, and it does work for them, but it does also speak to Chronicler's point that they are a team that is fairly one-dimensional, and if it's the only thing they can bring, will it be able to get them more than the one win they have so far?
It's one of those, it's the double-edged sword where you're like, okay, yeah, I understand why you want to be critical. I understand, like, yeah, they lock in Renekton. You see this draft, like it is. We were talking about
Be honest, when you saw it too,
I was like, that's a Gen G draft.
Yeah, that wasn't a Chronicler only thing.
I don't even have to watch a regular season, and immediately I'm like, that's a Gen G draft. That's a Gen G. But the truth is, you got him a win. And like, if it keeps getting wins, that's all that matters at the end of the day. Their goal is the World Final, and if they can keep getting away with it, then they're not going to stop doing it. And the reality is that in this early game, I really thought things were looking good for EDG, but a solo kill in top lane, the repeated ganks bot lane from Clid, the limitations of what EDG could actually end up doing was shocking, and I was surprised as to how quickly EDG fell short in the early game.
I mean, Azael, the solo kill top lane, no doubt was shocking after having been focused, you know, forced off the turret, blowing his flash, returning to turret, dying to the dive. With the Graves ahead, Renekton comes back with a solo kill, but Vedius and Chronicler both mentioned it. It's Clid, our Oppo player of the game this time around, chaining ganks and kills together through the early game. I guess you can draft whatever you want if this guy's gonna pop off on Lee Sin like the way he did.
I mean, absolutely. I think he's just playing incredibly well in this game. And it's kind of to Vedius' point. I mean, you're putting resources up towards the top side to get the Renekton behind, to put your Graves ahead. And it feels so bad when then you see your Graves getting solo killed by this Renekton that you already put behind. And on the other side of the map, your bot lane is just getting absolutely stomped by Clid. So things kind of fell apart pretty quickly. It felt like for EDG, and we've seen the power of Lee Sin all 3 quarters, now into semis. People have just been dictating games on this champion, and today it's no different.
There's a piece of me that just it can never get over the fact that Lee Sin always finds a way to be one of the most impactful champions at a world championship. But again, it makes sense because of what you can do with the skill ceiling, and then of course the steal on the Baron as well. I mean, Clid coming up massive for the squad, and it's what you want to see out of a player like him, given the likes of his opponent on the other side.
So what I will say is that, like, this was overall a good performance from Gen G in that once they got the early lead, they were actually pretty effective at utilizing it in the mid game, right? Because top lane was able to recover in a 1v1, then Clid invested bot lane while BDD was scaling in mid. You kind of had all the components that you needed in the early game to then transition into a very solid mid game. And my concern comes from EDG, which is that this isn't actually something new. We saw this in group stages. We've also seen it during the regular season of the LPL. When you attack the bot lane, and when they don't have that same leverage or pressure bots, then this team seems to struggle to know how to best answer. in the mid game. And it really did feel like that slowly but surely they were conceding one objective after the other. And it almost felt like that they were waiting for that one moment. And it felt like that Baron was that one moment, which obviously was then ripped away from them. But this was something we talked about in the RNG series, where if you do shut this bot lane down, EDG do seem to also shut down in their entirety.
So we'll relive the final moments here, but really what I'm concerned about is game number 3. If we have diagnosed that Gen.G is one-dimensional, and this is their one dimension, now that you've seen it as the side of EDG, what do you change? What do you do? How do you make sure you take the next 2 back-to-back?
I mean, honestly, I just think it's more about, EDG playing mistake-free than it is about, anything in particular that Gen.G is doing. They are just playing more about these standard picks. They play in a similar way. They like to try to force Barons. They like to try to do these things. They slow down in the mid game. They kind of struggle with closeout games. Yes, there are these patterns that you can identify, but I don't think it's like, you just pick this thing and then you beat that. I think EDG has to play a more mistake-free game. I think even with the advantage we saw in game number 1, Viper was actually making a number of errors, was getting punished. When you have the advantage in a matchup on top side, you can't afford to get solo kills. You need to be playing more safe than that, because I think that's really what put EDG on the back foot. If one lane is losing, it's okay. If your top lane is now losing, your mid lane is outranged by the Azir, and you have Jarvan who's now getting...
학살의 현장에서 난 피어오른다. 붉은 여명에 피어나는 꽃처럼.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
또 다른 가면이 있다.
미니언 생성까지 30초 남았습니다.
그 어떤 시인의 작품도 내 경지에 이르지는 못해.
미니언들이 생성되었습니다.
의상 그리고 약간의 분장, 거기에 피만 뿌려주면 되지. 뭐가 가짜일까? 가면이? 내 얼굴이? 이거야! 무대 중앙으로! 내 힘들이지. 내가 아까 저기 춤을 추는
First Blood.
마음에 들어.
준비됐지?
그걸로 부족해. 진정으로 아름다움이 뭔지 될 거다. 오해들하고 있고 아름다움은 절대 사악할 수 없어.
적을 처치했습니다. 아군이 당했습니다. 아군이 당했습니다. 아군이 당했습니다. 적에게 당했습니다. 적을 처치했습니다.
분위기에 흠뻑 취해보자. 이 열정이 날 재촉한다.
공연 전에 늘 긴장하기 마련. 바로 그 긴장감이
내 작품을 통해 넌 조문을 이루게 될 거다.
내 사랑을 느껴봐라. 관객들이 기다린다. 피가 이렇게 제품을 수월하게 만들 수 있었을까? 이 얼마나 아름다운가. 내 작품의 비디오 얼굴은 대체로 명이 짧지. 유명하게 만들어주마. 난 행동을 취한 영감을 불어넣지. 심장을 강타하는 감동을 안겨드리지.
적을 처치했습니다.
그래, 바로 지금.
적을 처치했습니다.
나는 아름다움. 오물과 세계 속에서 피어나는 공연을 좀 더 화려하게 꾸며보실까?
아군이 당했습니다.
미소 그리고 비명 선사하지. 내 관객은 모두 최고다. 웃어. 모두 지켜보자.
제압되었습니다.
내 무대에 올려주지. 이제 대장시켜드리지. 모든 건 정말 날 위해 춤을 춰. 세상의 행복은 처음에서 그 순간에 보이겠지. 나의 창작을 보았어.
아군이 당했습니다. 학살 중입니다.
날 위해 노래. 나에겐 오직 이게 영감을 지는 녀석이군.
아군이 당했습니다. 제압되었습니다.
살살 꾸물고 죽기 전까지.
포탑 방패가 곧 쏘낸다.
막이 오르기 전 이 짜릿한 화물경. 아주 간단해. 내가 쏘면 저들이 춤을 추지. 이제 커튼콜 시간이다.
적을 처치했습니다. 파괴했습니다.
배우게 될 거다. 내 작품은 궁금증을 불러일으키지 답은 없겠지만 말이야.
바람을 맞아.
사랑스러워.
인형을 무너뜨려라.
포탑이 파괴되었습니다. 제압되었습니다.
모두 가져갔을 거야. 학살의 현장에서 난 피어난다. 붉은 양의 피어난 꽃처럼. 생각이 곧 나의 무대 그 자체다.
눈도 깜짝 안 한다.
포탑이 파괴되었습니다.
이제는 안무가 필요하겠군.
포탑을 파괴했습니다. 포탑이 파괴되었습니다.
고요함에 질투가 난다.
미쳐 날뛰고 있습니다.
시끄러워야 하니까. 이번엔 내가 제대로 보여줘.
눈도 깜짝 안 한다. 전진.
언제 처음 쏠 때만 삶의 추억.
돌격!
느끼고 싶다. 처음.
제압되었습니다.
이번 거는 마지막이다. 늘 하는 거짓말이지만. 여기 예술이 날 기다리고 있다. 좋은 걸로는 부족해. 완벽하니까. 아름다워. 온갖 쓰레기 속에서 피어나는 연꽃. 죽여주는 공연을 하라고 대가를 받았거든.
아군이 당했습니다. 적을 처치했습니다.
작품이 완벽해질 때까지 기다려야겠군.
아군이 당했습니다.
젊은
포탑이 파괴되었습니다. 적을 처치했습니다.
날 보면 무슨 생각이야?
학살지를 위해서 적을 처치했습니다.
분위기에 취해보자.
포탑을 파괴했습니다.
난 절대 공연을 해치지 않는다. 학살의 공연을 할 뿐이지.
제압되었습니다.
나는 무결하다.
아군이 당했습니다.
역시 그러하지. 죽음을 선사하는 학살의
더블킬. 적을 미쳐 날뛰고 있습니다. 파괴되었습니다. 포탑이 파괴되었습니다.
미쳤다고? 예술가라면 당연한 거 아니야? 내 진짜 얼굴을
포탑을 파괴했습니다.
눈도 깜짝 안 한다. 불격!
난 목소리 없는 가수요, 다리가 없는 무용수지. 춤추라, 노래하라, 그리고 죽음을 맞이해라. 마귀 오르기 짜릿한 화물경. 도서관에서 극적인 연출은 글렀군. 모든 녀석아 제자리에 있어.
진영을 무너뜨려라!
자, 각자 위치로. 이 작품을 통해 넌 초월을 이루게 될 거다. 이런 상황에서 예술을 하는 게 쉽지 않지.
되었습니다.
언젠가 내 천재성을
포탑이 파괴되었습니다.
사람을 맞아라!
포탑이 파괴되었습니다. 억제기가 파괴되었습니다. 억제기가 곧 재생성됩니다. 아군이 당했습니다.
하나 안 녹이는 의뢰인들만 상대를 하지.
억제기가 파괴되었습니다. 패배.
멍청한 데는 약도 없지.
신나게 놀아볼까?
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다. 미니언 생성까지 30초 남았습니다.
진정해. 그래봤자 죽기밖에 더 하겠어? 일부러 그런 건 아니야.
미니언들이 생성되었습니다.
울트라 메가 캡슐 파워건 같은 게 있으면 어떨까? 몰라. 그냥 총이나 쏘자고. 엎드려. 농담이야. 그래봤자 소용없어.
First blood.
미쳤다고? 내가? 아직 입을 안 만나봤는데.
적을 처치했습니다. 아군이 당했습니다.
총을 바꿀 때가 된 것 같은데? 다른 총들한텐 비밀이야. 총알 낭비하기 너무 좋아.
적을 처치했습니다.
가만히 있어봐. 생각 좀 해. 보기는 해. 모두 계획된 거야. 방금 전에 말이야.
적을 처치했습니다.
멋진 대상이 떠올랐었는데.
적을 처치했습니다. 아군이 당했습니다.
안 되네.
아군이 당했습니다. 트리플 킬.
뭐라고? 안 들려. 듣고 싶지도 않고. 내 벤트 정말 많지. 별 이유는 없어. 얌전하게 놀아볼까? 막 이래. 좀 죽어주셔야겠어. 싹 날려버리는데 생각 따윈 필요 없어.
적을 처치했습니다. 서진입니다.
그래, 나 미쳤어. 의사도 그러더라고.
미쳐 날뛰고 제압되었습니다. 처형되었습니다.
진정해. 그래봤자 죽기밖에 더 하겠어. 마지막 유언이라도
아군이 당했습니다. 적을 처치했습니다. 학생 중입니다. 포탑을 파괴했습니다.
총을 바꿀 때가 된 것 같은데? 가만히 있어. 생각 좀 보긴 뭘 해?
포탑을 파괴했습니다.
방금 전에 말이야.
도저히 막을 수 없습니다.
종아리 받아라.
제압되었습니다.
일부러 내는데. 잠깐. 완전 멋진 회사가 떠올랐었는데. 나는 신경 좀 써주려고 하는데 그게 잘 안 되네.
적을 처치했습니다. 포탑 파괴가 곧 소멸됩니다.
뭐라고? 안 들려. 듣고 싶지도 않고. 내 벤치 정말 많지. 별 이유가 없어.
아군이 당했습니다. 적을 처치했습니다.
점점 지루해지는데.
포탑을 파괴했습니다. 아군이 당했습니다.
누굴 쓸 차례였더라? 이런 게 왜 필요해? 그래, 내가 징크스다. 왜? 기분 나빠?
포탑을 파괴했습니다.
바위는 바보, 주먹밖에 몰라. 차차차. 진정해. 그래봤자 죽기밖에 안 고맙지마. 어차피 죽을 목숨인걸.
아군이 당했습니다.
일부러 그런 건 아니라고. 깜짝 놀랄 준비 되어 울트라 메가 캡슐 파워건 같은 게 있으면 어떨까?
포탑을 파괴했습니다.
내가? 아직 누굴 안 만나보셨네.
적을 처치했습니다. 포탑을 파괴했습니다. 포탑을 파괴했습니다. 적을 처치했습니다.
거긴 뭐해?
써집니다. 적을 처치했습니다. 포탑을 파괴했습니다. 학생 중입니다. 날뛰고 있습니다. 포탑을 파괴했습니다. 파괴했습니다.
정말이야. 소리 질러도 소용없다니까. 뭔 차례였더라? 아, 땡판 칠 차례였지. 얌전하게 놀아볼까? 무릎 꿇어라!
적을 처치했습니다. 적의 업체계를 파괴했습니다. 제압되었습니다. 적에게 당했습니다. 학살 중입니다.
그래, 내가 징크스다. 왜? 기분 나빠? 바위는 바보.
적이 미쳐 날뛰고 있습니다.
그래봤자 죽기밖에 더 하겠어? 일부러 그런 건 아니라고.
적을 처치했습니다. 포탑이 파괴되었습니다. 적이 미쳐 날뛰고 있습니다. 적을 도저히 막을 수 없습니다.
울트라 메가 타워건 같은 게 있으면 어떨까?
아군이 당했습니다.
내가? 아직 누굴 안 만나봤는데.
도저히 막을 수 없습니다.
가만히 있어봐. 생각 좀 해. 보긴 뭘 해.
적의 억제기가 더 고승합니다. 적을 처치했습니다. 포탑이 파괴되었습니다. 적의 억제기를 파괴했습니다. 아군이 당했습니다. 적이 전장을 지배하고 있습니다.
잠깐. 완전 멋진 대사가 떠올랐었는데. 나름 신경 좀 써주려고 하는데. 뭐라고? 안 들려. 듣고 싶지도 않고.
아군이 당했습니다. 적 더블킬. 적은 전장을 화신입니다. 포탑이 파괴되었습니다. 포탑이 파괴되었습니다. 억제기가 파괴되었습니다. 포탑이 파괴되었습니다. 포탑을 파괴했습니다. 적은 전설적입니다.
날려버리는데 생각 따윈 필요 없어. 무릎 꿇어라.
제압되었습니다. 적의 억제기가 곧 재생됩니다. 아군이 당했습니다. 적이 처치했습니다.
그래, 내가 징크스다. 왜? 기분 나빠? 바이는 바보, 수학밖에 몰라. 차차차.
적은 전설적입니다.
일부러 그런 건 아니라고. 울트라 메가 캡슐 파워건 같은 게 있으면 어떨까? 몰라. 그냥 총이나 쏘자고. 내가? 아직 둘을 안 만나보네. 총을 바꿀 때가 된 것 같은데? 다른 총들. 가만히 있어봐. 생각 좀 해.
억제기가 곧 재생됩니다. 아군이 당했습니다. 적을 처치했습니다. 당했습니다. 아군이 당했습니다. 포탑이 파괴되었습니다. 포탑이 파괴되었습니다. 억제기가 파괴되었습니다. 아군을 당했습니다. 포탑이 파괴되었습니다. 소환사 한 명이 게임을 중입니다. 소환사 한 명이 게임을 중